full moon in Capricorn and the goddess Tanfana. So the full moon is at 8 degrees of Capricorn, opposite the sun, 8 degrees of Cancer, exact on the 29th of June, 2026 at 23:56 UTC, which in the Netherlands is just before 2 in the morning on the 30th of June. Saturn in Aries squares both the sun and the moon from the cardinal corner, and Neptune is beside it. Mercury stations retrograde at 26 degrees Cancer on the same day, and Jupiter sits in the final degree of Cancer, hours from leaving for Leo. This is so good. Hi, my name is Megan. I'm an astrology student and I am learning things while putting other things off. So I'm writing this. I just learned about Tanfana, the Germanic pagan goddess of this area where I am right now. And so then I went down a rabbit hole. And she is a goddess of the night. She is a goddess of the moon. And she also is a fertility goddess. And it's almost 40 degrees here in the Netherlands. And I don't like the heat. So I have all the shades drawn. The dog is asleep on the tile floor. And I'm doing research into a Germanic pagan goddess on a Thursday afternoon. So I wanted to write you another episode and then also answer some questions because I've been getting some questions. But let's go back to her. There is a hill in the east of the Netherlands between Oldenzaal and Duluth called the Tankenberg. And it is the highest ground in the province. And for the people who lived around it, long before there was a Netherlands, long before there was a Germany, long before there were borders, it was holy ground. And on top of it now, there's a small stone dome that the locals call the Temple of Tanfana. It is, however, not a temple. It is a memorial that was built in the 1840s to mark where a temple is supposed to have stood. And the difference between the thing and the marker placed where the thing used to be is kind of what we're talking about today with this full moon. So this full moon is at 8 degrees of Capricorn. The moon is full and facing the sun at 8 degrees of Cancer. And a full moon is in opposition. The two lights at the furthest apart each are pulling their own way. And the sign tells you what is being pulled. Capricorn is the sign of Saturn, of the institution, the law, the patriarchy, the state. The moon rules Cancer. So in Capricorn, she is in detriment. She wants to be across the wheel at home in Cancer, but she's not. She's in Saturn. So she is the feminine light, reaching her fullest strength while sitting inside the house of the very power that harms her and holds her in. Sound familiar? And the Lord of this whole lunation is the planet that everything here answers to is Saturn. And Saturn is in Aries, in the sign of his fall, so he's already weakened, squaring both the sun and the moon. Saturn is at 13 degrees. The sun and the moon are at 8 degrees. Then, so the institution is owning this full moon and is itself out of dignity and weakened. In addition to that, he's getting ready to station retrograde. So when a planet stations, it is concentrated. The power of it is concentrated because it's not moving. And but coming up to stationing, he's weakened. So he's weakened from being in Aries, out of dignity, and he's weakened from getting ready to station. So he's extra weakened. And then we have Neptune at 4 degrees, fogging everything up. It's so humid here. It's so warm here. I put my glasses on after I got out of the shower and my glasses fogged up. And I remember when I wore glasses all the time and that happening. So that's the kind of heat and humidity that we are in right now. And I came here, one, because it was cooler up here, only it's not happening this last week of June. This is several years in a row. So it's now my remembering to not be here the last week of June. Okay, so some questions. Here's one question that I got. Why would I come for a reading with you? Great question. I do a little commercial in every video, and one woman asked, okay, I hear your question, I hear your comment, but why would I come? I have a handful of reasons, and I'll go through them quickly. And you can find everything you need to know in the description box and on my website. One is you want to know what's happening, and you want some interpretation of everything that's happening right now. July, the planets in July are a little crazy, and it's going to be conflated. There's people going to be talking about it for over the next several weeks and how bad it is, blah blah blah. We've been through this before. We're going to go through it again, and the planets do not make things happen. There have been times when it's been very popular that causation was very popular. I do not believe in causation. I think that the planets reflect things that are happening down here, and we reflect up things that are happening up there. I don't think that they cause things. I don't think that Mercury retrograde makes my phone not be able to update. I think that I have an old phone. It doesn't update. It's more likely to happen maybe during a time like Mercury retrograde, but it doesn't happen because I have a 4-year-old phone. It's more like I have a 4-year-old phone. So if you're looking for some thought into what's happening, I also have a different kind of perspective. And the astrology that I practice is feminist Hellenistic astrology. And if you're looking for someone who looks at the planets and looks at your life and looks at what's happening, then that would be a good time. If you're looking for someone on your team and you're looking for someone to know you and see you like at that deep level, and then be able to tell you what they see back, that I can do. I can look at your chart and I can see your natal chart and then also the transits and what's happening, and then be able to be in your corner while also not being sycophantic and telling you that everything's going to be okay, and that in order for you to keep coming back and that you hear the thing that you want to hear. And anyone who has been to a reading with me, you can let them know that in the comments about how I don't do that. Another reason is it's your birthday, and your birthday is coming up and you want a reading for the next year. Great, we can do that. I love doing that. I love looking at over the next year. Another is you're looking for a certain day, or you're looking for a good time for something, to open a business, or to go on vacation, file for divorce, right? Anything you want to do something on a certain day and you're looking for a good time for that, I can help you find that, and we can really look for things. If you're looking for do I need to watch out for anything? I would love to look for that and with you, and specifically for your sign instead of just general readings that are available on TikTok. Another is that you read charts and you need someone else to look at it. I think that anybody who reads charts needs someone else who looks at charts to be able to see things. I was just talking to a girlfriend the other day, and she pointed something out that was like blatantly obvious in my chart, but I could not see it. So I think we all need people in our corner that will tell us the truth. And that's so important to me as a neurodivergent and as someone who I've had that experience where people don't tell me the truth, and I really prefer that they do. Okay. Did I cover all of them? I think I might have missed one, but that's okay. I didn't write it down. So you can find all of and Lilith. How could I forget our girl? I found something in the Lilith reading. So looking at your Black Moon Lilith and looking at them in relation to the lots, the lot of spirit, the lot of fortune, the lot of eros, and what that means with regards to wealth. And if you're anything like me, in midlife, wealth has been a kind of a conversation, because I tried to fit into the system that didn't want me to be a part of it. The system is designed for a specific kind of people at the very, very top, and no one else is really allowed in. So how do we make it work instead? How do we make that work? And how do we make it work in a way that has us thrive instead of suffer in the institution? So that would be another reason why you come. And then just because you like what you hear, you should come for a reading for that. Okay, I think that's all the reasons. Let's see. We're 8 degrees of Capricorn. I said that. Okay, now let's go back to Tanfana because I'm really intrigued by her, and she's going to be part of the repertoire. What I haven't looked at is if she has an asteroid. I haven't done that because I don't have that asteroid software, but I will get that. I will get the update my astrology software in the near future and be able to share that stuff with you. So let's go back to Tanfana. We know her name, and we know her name from the first written account of her. And it's the Roman historian Tacitus tells us in the Annals that in year 14, the general Germanicus marched on the Marsi, and the Marsi was the tribe that was here where I am. And they were deep in a night festival to their goddess, Tanfana. And it was the most honored sanctuary of those tribes. And it was the temple that they called Tanfana. And they leveled the temple to the ground and massacred the tribe. This is the first thing that was ever written about her. The first record of the goddess is the report of the destruction of her tribe and the destruction of her temple. And it was written by the people who destroyed her. And then the second raising. And this one is slower and it's harder to see. So the stone that stood at her sacred place, the great offering stone, where people gathered to worship her, was dragged off the hill in the 17th century and set down in the center of Oldenzaal, beside the basilica, specifically to put the heathens out of worship with her and then to put it at the church door so they would feel guilty and then not worship. And so it took the object of her power and then reset it in this precinct of the new god, the Catholics, at the church door where it sits to this day as a thing that people walk past. I'm going to go find this thing. Then this is Capricorn, right? This is a Capricorn move. This is the feminine power is not destroyed, but then relocated into a place where she is penned in. It's contained, it's repurposed, and she's made to serve the institution that replaced her. And then a Marian chapel stands on her road now, a large stone Mary that is heavy with candles on the same ground, doing the work that the goddess once did. And it's for the people who came once to the goddess. Now, in the oral traditions, she carries a golden cup, and in that cup she gathers the souls of the souls of dead children, and most of all, and brings them toward the light. She is helped by a hound, the dog who walks before a dying house and then carries the soul home. This is the oldest job, right, in the oldest religions. It was a dog at the gate of the dead. And now he's called a hellhound and a soul stealer, where really he was just guiding the souls home. In 1840, near Usen, which is just over the German border, it was a farmer's find, and it was dated by archaeologists. They found the cup to roughly 750 to 600 BC. So the Bronze into the Iron Age, centuries before this raid on her temple by Tacitus. So centuries before was this cup, and it was a gold cup, and it was 15 centimeters tall. So watch what they had to do to her character in order to make this whole relocation hold. So picture her first. The images, the oral tradition talks about her being fair-skinned. She has red hair. She has green eyes that carry their own light and they glow in the dark. And those of us with green eyes know that we can adjust our eyes, adjust to the dark very quickly. And in certain light, in certain infrared light, our eyes do move gold in the dark. And then her people, the Witte women, glow when they rise off the cold fields at dusk. So she is a goddess of the earth and of fertility, of the ground that pulls the seed down into the dark and then pushes it back into the light. And carrying the dead is the same motion. The earth that takes the body is the earth that returns the grain. So the soul going down and the soul coming back toward the light is one cycle. And she governs all of it. So that's why she holds this golden cup. And in it, she gathers the souls of the dead, especially the souls of dead children, and then carries them towards the light. For a goddess, that's the living ground. There's no gap between the seed that she's talking about with the farmers and then returning the child. And this is farm country. So the goddess of the threshold is a mother who receives the dead and does not let them be lost. She continues to mother and to nurture them. And the church that turned that inside out told people that she ate children and then she fed them to the devil. And the mother who carries the lost souls to the light then became the witch who devours children. So this is exactly what we've been talking about with Elgol, with Medusa, with Circe, with Lilith. This is the taking feminine power and then recoding it as monstrous so that the people who loved her will fear her, and then their children and their children's children will only hear the fearful story. And there you go. Then she's gone. Then she disappears. So this is where the sky on the 30th becomes really precise. The square from Saturn is the institution that is still pressing. And out of his dignity, he's weakened. His empire is long gone. The church is long past its hold. Yet the pressure on the feminine continues by momentum. Then we go to the square. The square from Neptune is the method, because the way that she was unmade was blurring. It wasn't by a single blow. It wasn't just by destroying her temple. The temple became the memorial, but then it was the stories that were told about her for centuries past into something that is only feared. The goddess then thins into this tourist legend. She's a name on a walking route and a charm sold in a shop. Maybe she's a tattoo for people who like that, like me. Neptune dissolves the edges until you cannot say where it came from. And then what is the folklore? And the folklore only turns into the demonized folklore, because she leads the Witte Wieven, the white women of the mist that still come off the cold fields at dusk. And I've seen them, the mist in the north near the hewn beds. So the mist on this full moon is her. And a Capricorn full moon that's squared by Neptune in the night, here we go. So when Neptune squares this full moon, the dissolution is really the weapon. And the blurring that turned this temple into a memorial and really removed the sacredness from it, that's the whole point. So just look, are there places where your power has been moved and turned into something else, where your sacred land has been changed? These women, these white women, they still rise off the fields and the bogs at dusk, all over the eastern side of the country. And at the plainest level, they are the mist, right? They're just columns of fog that are standing over water at dawn. And then wit is white, and wit is also wise. So the wit women, the knowing women, are the fortune tellers, and the wise women, and now we've just turned them into ghosts. Here's the story goes again, right? The church said that they were the honored grave at the grave beds and the hewn bedden. They were the healers and the midwives and the seers. And you would bring bread and milk to the hewn beds and ask for a cure, or to the fields and watch the mist off for a cure or a safe birth or a fever that was broken. And then after the church, they are now a menace in the fog. And the stories that they lure you off the path to drown you and steal your milk and punish you for digging, they become old women with teeth and monsters. But this full moon is the lunar feminine at her brightest, but she's inside of the institution. She's inside of the system, the patriarchy. So find the place in your life where your power has been moved off of its hill, and then the sacredness has been changed in some way. And it's kept, but it's contained. It's useful, but it's no longer yours. Find where that is. It could be credit that was taken for something that was yours. It could be just something that was moved, like the sense of power was moved for you. And then do one small concrete thing about taking it back. Just one. Just do one thing this week about taking that power back. And now here we go to all signs. Full moon in Capricorn, Cancer rising. The full moon lights the person across from you, the partner, the one you have built something with. Think of Asherah, who stood beside the god of the Hebrews as his consort until the reformers cut down her sacred groves and wrote her out of the book so he could stand alone. The full moon brings her back into the 7th house of your chart. And the question that she puts to your partnership is whether you are still standing in it as an equal or being written out of your own story. Tonight, the consort takes her place at the table, named equal and impossible to erase. Leo rising. Full moon in Capricorn, the full moon lights your daily work and the body that carries it. Brigid was the goddess of the forge, the healing well, and the poet's fire. And when she could not be stamped out, she was folded instead into a saint, and her flame kept burning under this name, Saint Bridget. In your 6th house, she is the reminder that the skill in your hands and the health in your body are sacred. They are not drudgery to be handed off. This full moon relights her fire on your ordinary day, and the work that you thought was only labor turns back into something holy that belongs to you. Virgo rising, full moon in Capricorn. The full moon lights up the things that you make for love, for child, the art, the work, and the things that you create for its own sake. Ridwin kept the cauldron where wisdom and poetry were brewed and for tending the deepest power of transformation. She was remembered instead as a hag and a witch. In your 5th house, the cauldron is all yours, and what you have been quietly brewing is ready. The full moon lifts the lid, and the thing you made comes up and out of the dark, fully formed with your name on it. Libra rising, full moon in Capricorn. The full moon lights up your home and the ground that your family stands on. The Witte Wieven were the wise women of the Low Countries of Germanic paganism, who became, after their deaths, the bright mist over the grave mounds, and until the church recast them as hags in the fog. In your 4th house, they are your own ancestral dead, the women who are beneath your foundation, whose knowledge built your house. This full moon brings the mist up off the ground, and the wisdom that you came from rises to stand with you in your own home. Scorpio rising, full moon in Capricorn. The full moon lights our voice, our writing, the words that we carry between people, and it does this in the house where the moon herself rejoices. Karmata was the Roman goddess of prophecy, who shaped the very letters of the alphabet, and the city that wrote with her letters let her festival fade. In your 3rd house, she is proof that your words are power. This full moon hands us back the letters, and the thing that we have been waiting to say arrives with the weight of prophecy. Sagittarius rising, Capricorn full moon. The full moon lights your money, your resources, what you are worth. Nehelenia was the goddess of safe passage and abundance in the North Sea. Her name was lost for centuries until the tide gave back her altars from the seabed. In your 2nd house, she is the proof that what was buried is not gone, and what is yours can be recovered. This full moon raises her from the water, and with Mercury turning back through the same ground, the worth that you have been counting too low comes back up to the surface to be claimed. Capricorn rising. Capricorn full moon. The full moon lights you, your whole self, your body, the thing that you live in, and does this in the very sign of the system. Lilith was made of the same earth as the first man, refused to lie beneath him, and for that refusal, she was then exiled and turned into a demon of the night. In your first house, she is the part of you that was never wrong, only too large to be permitted. This full moon stands her upright on your own ground, and you step into the full size of yourself with nothing left to apologize for. Aquarius rising. This full moon lights the hidden house, the things behind you, the room you keep closed. Hecate held the keys to the crossroads and walked freely between the living and the dead until she was pushed into the dark and made the very picture of the witch. In your 12th house, she is the one who carries a torch exactly the places that you have not wanted to look. This full moon lights her torch, and what you find in the closed rooms turns out to be a key that was always yours. Pisces rising, Capricorn full moon. This full moon lights your people, your allies, the company that you keep on the way to what comes next. In the house where Jupiter rejoices. The matronae were the triple mother goddesses whose altars once filled the Rhineland and these Low Countries here in the Netherlands, and honored in their hundreds until the new church let them all go silent at once. In your 11th house, they are the truth that you were never meant to do this alone. This full moon brings the mothers back in their company, and you take your place inside of a circle that holds you. Aries rising, Capricorn full moon. The full moon lights up the top of your chart, your work in the world, and the name that you are known by. And Capricorn is at home here. Macha was a sovereign goddess of the land, forced to race the king's horses while heavy with child. She won the race, and her power the court tried to use and throw away. In your 10th house, she is sovereignty that performs for no one. This full moon raises her at the finish line, and you take the public place you earned on the terms that you set. Taurus rising, Capricorn full moon. The full moon lights what you believe and what you have traveled toward, the sacred and the long study. In the house where the sun rejoices, Sophia was wisdom herself, present at making of the world, and the orthodoxy that inherited her demoted from creator to fallen thing in need of saving. In your 9th house, she is knowing that needs no church between you and it. The full moon returns her to her full height, so you can go back to the source and read it for yourself. You don't need anyone to communicate the divine to you. Full moon in Capricorn, Gemini rising. This full moon lights up what you share with the other person, the inheritance, the debt, the deep bond, and the threshold itself. Frau Holly kept the souls of the dead and the not yet born in the water beneath the world until she was shrunk into a witch in the children's tale. In your 8th house, she is the keeper of everything that passes between the living and the dead, the gift and the grief that was handed down to you. This full moon opens her well, and what you have carried for others rises into the light to be named and, at last, owned.